is one of, if not the most consistent rappers in the past decade. Especially in the last 3 or 4 years where he has released something like 6 projects. Drake is
songs with new artists. You feel me? Y'all get what I'm saying? Like, comment down below if y'all get what I'm saying.
basically a machine when it comes to putting out music. And since Drake has announced that he's not going to be putting out music for a while, I wanted to take a moment to appreciate this last era of Drake. And
Drake does shoot a music in Marcy in Brook. If y'all don't know, um, if y'all don't know, what's in Marcy, that's in Brooklyn. Y'all, if y'all don't know where in Marcy, that's in Brooklyn. That's in BK.
kind of talk about what I liked and didn't like in form of ranking. But before we start, do you want to hear a hot take?
21, can you do something for me?
Yes, I think of the CLB era of Drake. The worst or least good album is Her Loss.
I jump on your song and make a label think they need you, for real.
Her Loss was the collab album from Drake and 21 Savage that released towards the end of 2022, and most people loved it for the most part, with some going as far as to say this is the best that Drake has been all decade. However, I just don't see it that way. I don't think it's bad. It's just that I think it's kind of average for Drake. Honestly, these beats are way too slow for me.
I gotta stop going.
Or at the very least, too slow for Drake because it leads to awkward singing and rapping. And by the way, Drake's type of singing is very hit or miss with more misses than hits. Or at least in my opinion, honestly.
All you hoes, all of you hoes.
Of course.
These niggas said, all you hoes, all of you hoes. See, he starts singing that shit.
First, the lyrical substance at times is questionable, but I don't think the slow beats help.
8 words when I think about us is fuck me, fuck me, fuck me, fuck me.
In my ideal world, this album wouldn't be as much of a Drake album as it is, because it is a collab album. And 21 Savage isn't bad on this album, he just feels like the feature of a track. This doesn't feel like a real duo. Overall though, I think my favorite song is Circle Loco.
I've been blowing through the money like a growing cheese. I've been fucking on a French bitch, CLB.
I'm a sucker for a good sample, and I think this is a great sample. But also, it's fast paced and all the bars hit for the most part.
This bitch live by getting shots, but she's still a stallion.
But all jokes aside, shout out to Ray Allen for real.
Crows shoot from anywhere like you Ray Allen.
21 Savage also picks up the baton in terms of the mic very well, and it makes for a good song.
21 in the drop top Benz like it's so.
In terms of the solo Drake songs on the album though, I would check out Middle of the Ocean.
Niggas how to mind they business and my latest stuff. Might be the only teacher that gets paid enough.
Pretty cool track, personally. So this take is almost gonna be blasphemous for some people, but listen. Honestly, Nevermind is not as bad as an album. I do understand the criticism, but I grew up listening to this radio station and I remember all the songs on that radio station sounded like Honestly Nevermind. At least if you stayed up till after hours, this is what you would expect. And because of that,
Nah, that song sound like a pop song. It sound like a pop song, I ain't gonna lie. That's some shit you play I could see that song. I could see that song getting played in the club before, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
I gotta say, I understand the vision. Just a bit of background for the record though, because this album came out of nowhere. Just a random day in like June or July, Drake was like, I'm dropping an album, check it out. And it surprised everyone with the direction it took because house music? Really? 2022 was for some reason the year of EDM because Beyonce did it and The Weeknd did it. So hey, it was only natural for Drake to do it too. However, unlike those two, Drake got a lot of backlash. This nigga is trash. And listen, I'm not saying the album is great, but I think it's cool. And at the very least, I think that at their best, this album is better than Her Loss at its best. And I know it's just one song on the album, but still, I feel like Jimmy Cooks would have been the best song on Her Loss.
Fuck a pigeonhole, I'm a night owl, it's a different mode.
If not the best song, it would have been top 3.
If I was Will Smith, I would have slapped him with a stick.
And outside of Jimmy Cooks, there are some good gems here.
I don't wanna go, I don't wanna.
Massive.
And that's a pop song too. Drake is versatile, so yeah, he's gonna like switch up the style into rap, R&B, pop, you know, reggae, you know, all types of genres.
Is my personal favorite song on the album. And again, I do know this is a controversial take, especially because I talked about Drake's singing being bad in Her Loss, but I feel like Drake's singing fits way better in this context compared to Her Loss. It's a vibe type of album, and I saw it. I see the vision. Honestly, I might just be living in the future for real.
That's what we do. We wait for you to catch up. We're in here though. We caught up already. On to the next.
Handle beef so quiet, you think that I'm letting it slide.
For All the Dogs came out last week as of the recording of this video, and I don't know if there's a consensus in how people feel about the album, because everything that I've seen is mixed, but me personally, I like it. If I had to describe this album, I would say that this album is a better Honestly Nevermind, at least when it's at its best, like on the opening track. This Frank Ocean sample, it hits more than Barry Bonds on the steroids, if I'm gonna be honest though. And honestly, I don't even care what Drake is doing on the track, cause the beat alone carries it. And I know that has a negative connotation to it, but when the beat is this good, you know, I have no other comment to say. It is a personal favorite, in my opinion.
Pray until you find amen.
The follow-up track also follows up on the beautiful sounds of the previous track with a Tiso touchdown feature. And me personally, I'm all in on that Tiso touchdown stock. I like this album. It was solid. And he shows up later on the record to kill another feature. And personally, I don't know how he does that woo type shit, but them woos go hard. And while I'm mentioning features, that J. Cole song,
I'm naming the album.
That song is fire. The song he did with J. Cole is fire. That song, I don't know which one is better, this song or the In the Morning song. I don't know. It's kind of tied in my opinion, bro. Cause both songs is equally fire. That ass.
Honestly, with the way J. Cole has been rapping since the off season, I cannot wait for the fall off. That album is already shaping up to be a classic, and I really hope this song hits the top of the charts because J. Cole deserves a #1 hit. I honestly just wish that Drake was a little bit better on this track, and that's my main criticism for the album outside of the length of it, because almost every track on this album, it feels like Drake is okay, but he really was like 2 steps away from being great. But because of how fun this album is, I don't even have time to think about it because randomly Yeet pops up or Bad Bunny is on here. Also, by the way, shout out to Sexy Red. I ain't not gonna lie. I hate low energy Drake, which is why I hate that Slime You Out song. But when you add someone as energetic as Sexy Red, hey, it's a good song.
I know you got a guy, he's not a guy to me.
Can someone tell Drake to stop singing, man? At least if he's gonna sing like this.
Asking about a baby, we should probably get a friend.
Honestly, if it's not passion fruit, I don't want to hear it. You can keep that singing to yourself, dog.
I know that I hurt you.
Yeah.
I was a child trying to be a man.
And we're back to the beginning of the era, what I believe to be the best record in this run. If you don't care for Drake, you have a lot of other things to focus on. A lot of the rappers brought their A game for this record, and now that we can look at this album objectively a few years later, I think we can admit that the album is decent at worst, but when it gets good, it's great. Technically, that's just the motto for the CLB era, but listen, You Only Live Twice is one of the most underrated songs of this decade.
I never did you nothing and you play like we family, huh?
3 legends on one song rapping, and they're all pretty good.
Body made back like it's a Lil Pontiac. All my chains are like snakes, that's some real.
But when the album starts with champagne poetry, I legitimately thought I was gonna listen to like the greatest album of all time, or close to it.
I've been hot since the birth of my son. I remain unfazed, trust worse has been done.
This is an epic way to start an album, and low-key, it set CLB up for like high expectations, not gonna lie. But personally, my favorite song on the album is I Miss You Too with Kid Cudi.
And I'm focused.
No, I like the song with Lil Baby in this album, bro. I like that song.
Don't get more. They too stubborn.
Listen, no amount of Twitter hate can make me hate Kid Cudi. I will defend Kid Cudi, not gonna lie, but I don't think Kid Cudi needs too much defending on this song because this song is good. And it's the one I listen to most on this album, not gonna lie. But before I go, I think I'd be like crazy not to mention Knife Talk.
I missed the body catcher. Slaughter.
And I mean, yeah, it's really good. I gotta say though, this album also suffers in that it's way too fucking long, man. I get that that's
It's 21 songs, bro. That's OD. I ain't gonna lie.
like the meta to inflate numbers and all that, but I am not gonna lie. Listening to this album from start to end makes me realize why I hated it so much when it came out. And honestly, I kind of forgot how underwhelming some of the hooks on this album are. Honestly, fuck it. You know what? For the memes, For All the Dogs is going #1. Shout out to Drake. You know, we need people like Drake. Not gonna lie. Hip hop is boring right now. So yeah, if this is the end for a while, I'm gonna miss him. I'm not gonna lie. Anyways, I'm heading back to university.
Okay, that's the vid. So let me know which one is your favorite out of the list, bro. Involving this SLB era that Drake was in, bro. What is in, bro? And damn, what am I doing? What am I saying, bro? Let me know like which was the best album of this list, bro. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Y'all know the vibe. Whoever's checking out, you are.